In 1588, King Philip II of Spain assembled the largest naval invasion force Europe had ever seen.
30,000 soldiers and sailors. A plan to overthrow Protestant England and restore Catholic rule across northern Europe. The Spanish Armada was meant to be unstoppable. It was defeated by smaller, faster English ships. Contrary winds and storms that scattered the fleet across the North Sea. Less than half the Armada ever made it home.
The Elizabeth I. But what if the ship waiting for the Armada in the English Channel was not Francis Drake's squadron? What if it was HMS Queen Elizabeth, a modern Royal Navy aircraft carrier named after the very monarch who defeated the real Armada?
438 years earlier, the Spanish Armada. 100 ships sailing in a crescent formation.
A defensive arrangement designed to protect the slower troop transports at the center, with armed galleons on the wings.
Only about 40 of those ships were true warships. The remainder were transports, supply vessels, and converted merchants. The largest galleons carried up to 50 heavy cannons, firing iron balls at an effective range of roughly 300 meters.
Most of the Armada's firepower came from smaller bronze guns at shorter ranges. The strategic doctrine was boarding.
Close with the enemy, grapple and capture ships through infantry combat. Among the 30,000 men aboard the fleet,
a capable administrator, not a naval officer. His mission is to rendezvous with the Duke of Parma's army in Flanders, escort the invasion force across the Channel, and land a combined Spanish force of roughly 35,000 soldiers on English soil. The entire campaign assumes the enemy fights the way European navies fought in 1588. Line of battle, cannon exchange at close range.
Boarding actions were decided by infantry quality.
Powered by two Rolls-Royce MT-30 gas turbines, generating 72 megawatts of propulsion, with a top speed of 25 knots and an operational range of 10,000 nautical miles. The ship can carry up to 72 aircraft,
with configured around a maximum of 36 F-35B Lightning II stealth fighters. The F-35B is a fifth-generation stealth aircraft.
The F-35B has a combat radius of roughly 830 kilometers and carries Paveway IV 500-pound laser-guided bombs.
capable of striking targets within a meter of the designated aim point. Air-to-air missiles for self-defense without external guidance. Defensive systems include fan close-in weapon systems, firing 4,500 rounds per minute. No destroyer escort, no submarines, no other warships. Just one ship against the entire Armada. Strike one, beyond the horizon. The Armada enters the English Channel in late July 1588.
The carrier detects them from a position 400 kilometers away. Detection comes through Merlin Crow's Nest airborne,
scanning hundreds of kilometers of ocean in every direction. The Armada has no counter-detection capability. The carrier knows exactly where every ship is. The Armada does not know the carrier exists. The first strike launches within 40 minutes of detection. Carrying 4 Paveway 4 bombs each on external pylons. Unlike missiles, the bombs require the aircraft to overfly the target area. With no enemy radar to hide from, the stealth advantage is irrelevant. The aircraft carry maximum payload instead.
Guided mutants are now inbound toward Galata
and begin their release runs. The Spanish lookouts in the crow's nests of the largest galleons see small shapes far above and do not understand what they are looking at. They are visible to the naked eye, but only barely.
The Paveway 4, shown here, is guided by the F-35B's onboard EOTS sensor. The sensor emits
The first wave of 48 bombs drops within a 3-minute window. Wooden hulls designed to absorb cannon fire.
Are not designed to absorb 230 kilogram bombs falling from 12,000 meters. Roughly 40 Armada ships are struck directly.
Boats sink immediately. The survivors have no idea what just happened. Strike 2, the overhead pass.
Scatter! Ah! Sails are reset. The crescent breaks apart, and ships turn in every direction looking for an enemy they cannot see. In under 20 minutes. The fastest weapons handling system on any aircraft carrier in service. Full rearm, refuel, and crew brief for the next launch cycle completes in roughly 45 minutes.
The targets are locked in, awaiting final clearance. Stand by, we are at 45 minutes and counting. Launch sequence initiated. Crossed the Armada's position 90 minutes after the initial strike. Another 48 Paveway IVs drop on the scattered remnants.
Medina Sidonia's command ship, the San Martin, takes 2 direct hits. The Duke dies with most of his staff before he understands.
The Armada has lost its commander, its flagship, and any remaining ability to coordinate a response. The fleet of 50 strong galleons was now scattered across 50 kilometers of the English Channel, with no unified.
The remaining Armada ships do what 1588 Spanish sailors would do. They try to sail toward the attacker and close to cannon range. It is the only doctrine they have. Some ships turn toward the carrier's general direction, others scatter to neutral waters. And using the F-35B's 25mm cannon on smaller transports. Within 6 hours of first contact,
6 hours later, the fleet was scattered. The ships were either far, had surrendered, or were burning. The carrier has not fired a single defensive weapon. Not one Armada cannon ever came within 250 kilometers of the ship.
The Spanish Armada is destroyed without the carrier ever being seen by a Spanish sailor. Final casualties.
Roughly 110 of 130 ships sunk or disabled. Approximately 22,000 Spanish soldiers and sailors dead. The carrier loses nothing. Not an aircraft, not a sailor, not a ton of fuel it could not replace. The campaign.
The Spanish force waiting in Flanders is never picked up. England is not invaded because there is nothing left to invade with.
Oh, and yeah, if the carrier had not wanted to use a single bomb, its 65,000 tons of steel
And crushed every wooden galleon without firing a shot. But that might be a scenario for another video.